He wants to jump
1,000 cars. Sir, you have 1,000 cars.
I don't think I'd attempt to try this stunt.
Or we owe this horsepower to Uncle Sam.
Too many cars.
car. Roses would be...
Like I put my beer belly on it.
You can't immediately tell somebody how many cars you have.
You'll really give those uppity yuppies something to think about.
Stay on the bar. Don't go off the bar with your Bronco.
1980 Volvo horns. What's right? I want to have a man's coolant.
And he's like, oh, I thought it'd be small. It's for a small car. And I'm like, yeah, but it's still an automatic transmission. They're never going to be light.
It's definitely going to have to crash.
Starting off with Brad buying another car.
That's the West. Internet.
You know, is this a Nigerian oil print?
I also wish you drove a tan Camry.
Anyways,
Anyway,
that's a
horrible,
very
horrible podcast content.
very
Talking about a picture.
inside joke. Welcome to Auto Off Topic. Hi, Brad. I guess let's see. Merry Toyotathon?
Yes.
Yeah, you have a lot of Toyotas, so that's what I figured.
Sure. I also have a lot of Mopars, so also Merry Chrysler.
Okay.
So
Not a
whatever.
what's this December to remember?
It's not. It's not. You have a brand new Honda on order, so it could be Honda days for you because you actually purchased a brand new Honda.
Yeah. Well, happy Honda days.
Yeah, you haven't seen it yet, and it's a very small two-wheeled Honda, but it's a Honda nonetheless. So I actually saw a person who I know out here bought one for their 8-year-old son. That seems a little not great.
A Moto Compacto?
Seems like a little bit, yeah.
Is that what we're talking about? I kind of missed the first part because I
Yeah.
was coughing. This is why we didn't do a podcast
Oh,
last
I said
week,
you bought
because-
a. I said, yeah, and then I got sick after you. I think I caught it through the internet.
Yeah.
No, I said happy Honda days to you because you bought a brand new Honda.
I forgot I did. That's not showing up now till
Right.
January.
That's interesting because people have been getting deliveries of them. So
Yeah, I guess that's a whole thing. It's kind of weird because they said mid-December, and then I emailed them like, nope, sorry, January. Like, okay, because I literally ordered it.
yeah,
on
they
launch
probably.
day.
Yeah, maybe they just didn't expect the demand that they got. So
Yeah.
nonetheless, this year it is decided it's happy Honda days because Andrew bought a new Honda. So
Okay, fair enough.
you actually supported one of these days. Yes.
I did.
So that's where we're at. Anyway, yes, it is 2 days before the Christmas holiday. So
Yeah,
days? 2 days? It's Thursday, right?
it is Thursday, and
I feel like it's a month away, but it's only 3 days
Nope.
away.
Nope, it went very fast. And often in the past we've done gifts on air, but I just didn't get anything out to you yet, and you're not here in person, so
And there is a gift currently in shipping between here and there too. So
yeah, you're gonna get a New
There you're
Year's
at.
present box.
you'll have it before Christmas. So I win, but nonetheless, it is not here already. So should be there tomorrow, I think. Check the tracking number, but yeah, it feels like Christmas is still probably, I don't know, a month or two away. Not to do our typical and bring up the weather already, but we're actually having record warmth here in Phoenix, which is odd for Christmas. We'll put it that way. It's I think it was 78 degrees today. It's warm. Doesn't feel like Christmas. Had the air conditioning on in the car.
I mean, it didn't feel like Christmas
So-
anytime I've been out there because it's usually in the 70s.
Yeah, but there's a difference. No, I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah, I
It is
mean,
what it is.
it's got
Everybody's
you've
heard
got
it enough.
lights
I'll
on
stop it
palm
right there.
trees. It doesn't feel like Christmas.
I don't have
think,
lights on palm trees. I have lights.
People get fake snow.
I have lights on real
sprayed
trees out front.
Yeah, people get fake snow sprayed on the trees. That's a weird.
That's not something that I've seen here in Phoenix. I saw that you can purchase flocked Christmas trees in California. I haven't
Yeah.
seen it here in Phoenix yet, though.
Yeah.
So, nonetheless,
weird.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is. But usually it's a little cooler than it is now. And I've become, obviously I've been here for 4 or 5 years now, so I've become adapted to the temperatures. And when the temperatures are a few degrees warmer, it feels weird. So I love wintertime here because it's cold enough to like wear my New England flannels and be comfortable. But today it was just too dang hot, and I could not. So for the first day of winter, we had record highs. So the previous record was like 77 in like 1985. So it's definitely not been this warm for a while here. But anyway, doesn't feel like Christmas. Is Christmas. Somehow I'm mostly ready. So there we go. Moving on to automotive related things.
Yep.
You want to do some project car updates, Andrew? I assume you don't have any?
I don't.
Excellent. I
no,
will carry the torch.
Again, I've been feeling
So
I'll try not to
the
cough too much.
eclipse. Yeah, that's okay. It is what it is. It's Christmas time. We missed a week because you were sick, and if people don't want to hear you cough, they can miss 2 weeks. How's that sound? So I made a little progress on the eclipse. Obviously, I think last time we spoke, I had kind of at a standstill because the head needed to go to the machine shop. Said head is at the machine shop now. I found a machine shop nearby that was willing to take the job in and have it done within a couple of weeks. The first shop that I called, that I was recommended by all of the Mitsubishi people, said that they couldn't get it in until end of February. And that seemed a bit, that was a bit excessive. I didn't want to wait till the end of February to get it in. So that machine shop actually recommended another machine shop that they work with sometimes, who usually is a little bit less busy. It seems like the first shop I was recommended is kind of a one-man like backyard operation who does a lot of race car stuff, and he just is over his head in work. So he recommended a different shop for me here in North Phoenix that I did drop the cylinder head off earlier this week. And then waited to hear the prognosis and all of the good news / bad news that it would be in order to get this thing put back together. So I heard back a couple days ago, and a Mitsubishi 4G634 cylinder has exactly 16 valves, and I bent all 16 of them. So that's good.
Yeah, winner.
Yeah, 100% accuracy. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. You snap a timing belt, the motor doesn't stop instantly. And if something is turning at 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, that's how many times per second? Like, it's a lot of times per second. If there's 60 seconds in a minute and you're doing something 5,000 times in that minute, that's, exponential from that one time a second. Was that 100 times a second? Like, that's close to it anyway. 80 times a second. That's a lot. So even if the motor stops pretty much instantly, it still spins around a lot, and a lot to smash valves. So it smashed all 16 valves. So 16 valves and 12 valve, the metal tubes there, Andrew. My names are escaping me now. Valve guides. Thank you.
Well, the other thing, it's not like
so 16
push the clutch in instantly. It was still connected to the wheels and transmission, so the engine's going to turn.
It is, but the valve train's not turning.
Yep.
So I think that's the misnomer, is that somebody thinks that when a valve train snaps, everything stops instantly, so only the valves that are open are going to get hit by the pistons. But as that belt is breaking, that engine is still spinning until the belt actually breaks. And once the belt breaks, everything stops in the head, and then you're only left with the valves that are open, smashing the pistons. But there's that. Everything's so fast that it just doesn't matter. So like I said, it took out 16 valves and 12 valve guides. So at that point, you might as well buy 16 valves and 16 valve guides, right? You might as well replace them all.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah. So he's going through the cylinder head. It's going to get 16 valves. It's going to get 16 valve guides. It's going to get, tanked to be cleaned, make sure there's no cracks anywhere. And then it's going to go on the machine and be flattened. I'm not taking any material off of it other than whatever happens when it gets cleaned up. So it's not going to change anything like that. We're not building a serious hot rod here. We're just putting it back together with stock parts. So theoretically, I'll get it back and it'll be ready to pop on the car. I don't think I'll have it back before New Year's. It'll probably be sometime in the first week of January. So we're kind of at an impasse still. I don't know what machine shop rates are as a typical number, but it's more than I was expecting to spend at the machine shop. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
It's less than $1,000, but it is more than $500. So it's not inexpensive. So this whole entire job, even doing it myself, is probably going to cost me, with all parts and everything, somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500. So that's not ideal, but it's significantly cheaper than paying somebody to do it, I guess, right? And then I have the added benefit of, I guess, knowing it's done right. If I do it right, I have the added non-benefit of, if I screw it up and it breaks again, it's on me. So
yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know, it was either this or you throw the car away. So
that's the point we were at. And as you so eloquently pointed out in our Discord group, join the Discord if you haven't already. Send us a note that you want to join. We'll send you an invite. That if this was 5-10 years ago, I'd have rolled the car in the backyard, not thought about it, and just bought another car. So not doing that. I'm fixing it. I'm putting it back together. Does it make financial sense? It doesn't. But
I don't know.
At what point does it not matter? Yeah, that's what I mean. At what point does it not matter? I mean, I don't want to throw the car away. It's a good car. Even if I do sell it on immediately for, I can't break even on the car now. No matter what I do, it'll be a little bit of a loss. But even if I do sell it at a little bit of a loss now, it is what it is. The car still exists and somebody else can enjoy it. And I'd be able to put more money back in my pocket than just throwing it away, right? Because if I threw it away, I save, $1,500. If I put the car together and it's worth $4,500, $4,000, whatever, somewhere in that range, I don't lose as much. I only lose, this is real fuzzy math now, I only lose some of the $1,500 that I put into it.
Doesn't matter. Cost of experience.
Yeah. Well, the other good thing is, anybody that knows you or I knows that there isn't much time that goes by that we don't have a 4G63 in our lives. So I've never done this job by myself. So it's a learning experience. And the more of the same car you work on, the better you get. So eventually I'll be able to slap together a 4G63 in my sleep. I can do a head swap on a G54 Starion motor or a Raider motor now in no time. I've done it so many times in the old Raider, right?
Yeah, because you never brought it to the machine shop.
Lessons learned, Andrew. Lessons learned. In fact, the guy at the machine shop is like, I assume you want me to check this when it's done for flatness and everything too, right? And I was like, does anybody ever say no? And he goes, yeah, some people just want me to do the bare minimum. And I was like, no, please, make it perfect.
Yeah, I don't want to waste time here.
I don't want to waste this time and do it. Even if it's an extra $200 or $300, I didn't say it out loud, obviously, but I mean, if it's an extra $200 or $300 to not pull the cylinder head off the car again, that would be ideal. So it's being done correctly. That's all I can say. And I've ordered a factory Gates replacement belt, Gates replacement timing belt, balance belt and timing belt. It's got a brand new Asen water pump coming and a brand new timing belt tensioner coming. The only thing I haven't ordered yet is the timing cover itself. So everything's coming. So as soon as the head's done, hopefully I'll have everything here to do the job. So I can get it together in, I don't know, a weekend or 2 weekends maybe. I don't think it takes too long to put together, right? It's just learning the process and triple checking and quadruple checking everything to make sure it's done right.
Yeah, you gotta get the timing tools,
So.
but yeah.
Those are on order too.
Okay.
So everything's coming. Everything will be here. You know, with holiday shipping, I'm sure everything's going to be delayed anyway, but I don't have the cylinder head yet. So the only thing I can do on the car at this point waiting is just spray a ton of carb clean at the side of the motor and clean it up because it's pretty much ready to go. So I got new seals for the crank as well. So it's all apart. Might as well put a crank seal in it. Yeah, anything that's exposed and ready to change, I'm not going to put the old one back in. I don't know if the head bolts are torqued to yield, but I bought new ones anyway.
I don't remember off the top of my head,
So
but it's fine. Yeah.
I couldn't either, but they didn't cost that much money. So rather than even try to mess around with it, I just went ahead and bought new ones. So the car will be 100% fresh as far as the timing and cylinder head goes. So it is what it is. The only thing I haven't done is I was going to buy new lifters because I wanted to do the updated style.
Yeah, definitely.
I haven't done that yet because I forgot about it until I was just talking about it right now. So I need to figure out what the best lifters are to buy. So
it's just like 3rd gen lifters, and I've put like aftermarket ones in cars, and they're fine.
Yeah, it's just because the oil hole in the original ones is tiny, right? So
yeah, the
later ones have a larger opening.
You can probably look them up. They're just updated ones.
Yeah,
it was literally across the board Mitsubishi's.
Yeah, because that'll get rid of the ticking on startup and the occasional ticking while running, because the lifters won't be closed. So anyway, that's where we're at. I mean, it's not a huge step, but it's a step, right? So it bums me out a little bit, the amount of money it's cost. But like I said, it is what it is. It would probably cost me $3 or $4 to pay somebody to do it. So
yeah, it sure would.
Yeah, at least 3. So I might as well just do it. So I mean, I'm past the point of no return at this point anyway. The car's parked in my driveway, but it is what it is. So when he called with the price to do the head, I was like, like twist the knife in myself a little bit. But like we just determined, it is the lesser of two evils. It saves the car, and as crazy as it sounds, that's kind of what we're about, right? We want to save the cars. So
yeah,
car saved. So anyway, that's my project car update. I haven't actually worked on anything else. I kind of took some time off from working on cars because I had been doing so much with that. I dragged the Colt out of storage and used that for the first time, but never anything beyond just using it. I haven't done any work on it. So that's continues to be the most reliable, best car in the fleet. So sat all summer, pulled the cover off of it, turned it on, didn't even need a jump, sat right up. So it does need some help. It's at that point in its life. Oh, I did do a look for it coming up pretty soon, I think on YouTube. I did a video with former guest and friend of the show, Jalopy Jeff.
Yeah.
We did a full, without saying it's a direct copy of, but like have you ever seen the Larry Chen Old Hoonigan autofocus videos?
Yeah.
So like a combination of like the Larry Chen style video and the Petrolicious style video. Jeff wants to start doing some ownership stories.
Yeah, sure.
So we're using my car and my talking points as kind of one of those proof of concept videos for him. So we did some video shoot with the Colt on Sunday last week. So I drove the car around the city a bit, sat and did some interviews about the car a little bit, and then took a drive with him to a car show here in town that was actually pretty rad. So had some good car times, but haven't done any car work, so to speak. So good stuff. But I have been also told that we should stop talking about Toyota Camrys. So
Oh, darn, because that is this week's
Yeah.
topic, was the history of the Toyota Camry.
History of the Toyota Camry. I don't want to talk about Toyota Camrys this week, but I do want to
Toyota
talk
Camry,
about...
Toyota Camry, Toyota Camry, Toyota Camry.
let's talk about a car that exists in the world, but it rhymes with Bamry.
Okay.
I won't say what kind of car it is, so the listeners can try to figure it out for themselves. But I do need to bring something up.
Okay.
The car has ADAS features.
What?
ADAS is the industry term now for Advanced Driver Aid Systems.
That is terrible.
So, yes, that is the term they've come across. So, your radar cruise, your blind spot monitoring are all part of the ADAS system. So, the car has lane centering and lane assist.
Mm-hmm.
You can turn off lane centering, but you can't turn off lane assist. I don't know if you have much experience with these systems.
Yeah.
So I don't like them.
I rented a Corolla
At all.
and I thought it had flat tires in the front because it kept wandering, but it was trying to steer itself in the lanes because we were out in the middle of nowhere, Texas, and the lanes were not painted very well.
Yeah, most cars you can turn it off. But all I can turn off is the lane centering. I can't turn off the lane assist. And I didn't even notice it at first because I usually drive the car in the middle of the lane and didn't have an issue. And I had lane centering was not defaulted on, but lane assist is.
That's just the one that tells you you're leaving the lane, right? Lane centering
It tells you
the ghost hand on the wheel, right?
So lane centering keeps the car in the middle of the lane.
Yeah.
A lane assist in the Camry anyway, the Bamry anyway, also does a ghost hand on the steering wheel. I cannot turn it off. Again, it wasn't a huge deal because I hadn't really noticed because I don't usually drive out of the lane. And when you turn your turn signal on, as one does when they're properly driving, it lets you go over the lane and you don't even know what's happening. So I was driving down a road here in Phoenix and a truck had spilled paint out the back of it. So it had like a lane in the middle of the lane that wasn't a lane.
Oh,
and
okay.
The car freaked out and it caught me by surprise because it yanked the steering wheel as I'm driving. And it flung me towards the center of the road because that spilled paint was like slightly to the right of the center. So it tried to keep me on the left side of that spilled paint. But then as it went over to the left, it caught the center line and it brought me back to that. And the car like Jeep death wobbled back and forth between the two lanes, which weren't lanes, only one's an actual lane. So, I mean, obviously I didn't crash the car or nothing crazy happened and it didn't actually like put me into oncoming traffic, but for somebody who's not expecting that and doesn't know what's happening, I can see this being a huge problem.
Well, they'd overcorrect.
Because they would, exactly, somebody might overcorrect. And in this particular situation, you might wind up overcorrecting over the center line and crashing into a car coming the other way. Or overcorrecting into the sidewalk and hitting a pedestrian. Like, it was jarring enough for me to be bothered by it. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the world's best driver, but I like to think as car enthusiasts, we're probably more aware of things than a lot of non-car enthusiasts. And who's going to be driving a Toyota Camry? But usually non-car enthusiasts, right? So I don't know. Is this old man yells at cloud, or is this a legitimate concern?
Really no way to turn
genuinely
it off?
No. There's no way in any of the menus to turn it off. If there's some kind of like plug into it and go into menu settings through an external computer, I haven't yet. No, but I'm also coming at it as normal consumer, not car enthusiast.
Because I
A normal consumer is not going to turn that off if it doesn't
like I
have a
couldn't
button for it.
figure out how to turn off the hill hold forever on the cross track, and then I finally found a YouTube video.
Okay. Well, I'll dig a little into it, but it just from a standpoint of average Joe consumer, it seems a little aggressive. And it seems unnecessary, honestly. Like if it can't differentiate from where it's supposed to be and an error on the road, like, and it's not like paint never falls off the back of a truck and makes a line in the road. You see that fairly often, I would say. Or a car drives through wet paint and like makes the line go across the lane. I don't know. It was bizarre and unsettling. And as a car enthusiast, I definitely hated it. And I feel like it would be bad as a normal person driving the car too, because normal
Sometimes the
people
lanes
do
are just messed up.
overcorrect. Yeah, or a lot of times like during construction when lanes are all weird. Well, they have Jersey barriers that go over and lanes that go straight. I mean, you're pretty close to the Jersey barriers. The car going to put you into a barrier? Like, I don't know. It just, I don't think I would ever crash the car because of this, but I'm not going to say that everybody in the world wouldn't. So, I don't know. I don't like it. Maybe it's just me being old and crotchety and grumpy old man yelling at cloud, but I genuinely think it's bad. If you can't keep the car in a lane on your own, you probably shouldn't be driving, right?
Yeah.
So-
I mean,
Advanced driver assist systems. Oh,
like, what is that? So you can drive home drunk? Like, I don't understand what the point of that is.
I don't even think it would work that way either, because since I've learned that it has this system, I've played with it a bit, because now that's the car enthusiast brain, right? Where
How far can you push it?
well, how far can I push it? How far will it go to the edge before it turns back? And on like an on ramp to the interstate, because I mean I live in Phoenix, there's not a lot of curves, let's be honest. So, but like an on ramp to the interstate, I just held the steering wheel, like took my hands off of it, like right next to it. So I was like just brushing against it so I can grab it if I needed to. And when the lane finally turned, it aggressively turned with the lane, but to a point where I had to grab the steering wheel and take control, because I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't. It moved the car that aggressively. It felt like it was going to overcorrect and wind up being an issue, but maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. I haven't had an open enough area with lines to play with it that much. I didn't want to hit the Jersey barrier in the company car, or have somebody behind me call the cops because I think I'm a drunk driver. You know, who knows? But it's just, I don't know. I'll play with it some more. I'll report back. I don't want to spend too much time talking about not Toyota Camrys, or their Chinese competitor, Bamrys. But it seems to be a feature on a lot of new cars, and I know it's not every car yet. It hasn't been mandated yet, but this is the kind of thing I can picture the government mandating eventually. So we shall see. So far, totally anti it. Also, it's frustrating as an insurance appraiser because a lot of these systems require calibration. And when a car gets in an accident, all these systems need to be calibrated before the car can go back on the road. And that's something that's not simple or able to be done at every repair facility either. So it becomes an extra step in the repair process now, which is where the term ADAS now comes from, because we see ADAS companies popping up in existence that literally they have all of the tools to fix these different brands ADAS systems, and they literally just exist just to go from body shop to body shop and reset these programs. So, and of course they charge whatever they damn well please. So it's expensive, which of course will cost the consumer more in the end, when every time you take a bumper off a car, you have $1,700 worth of reset procedures. So there you have it.
Interesting.
Brad's rant of the week.
Everybody
Brought
should
to you
drive
by
57 Chevys.
his company car. Listen, I'm not anti that, as you know, but a lot of things are better in cars, and we can't sit here and, you know, cars aren't what they used to be, right? And that's a good thing, because cars that we love kind of suck, and we don't love them because they're perfect. We love them for their flaws, right? Cars are safer, cars are better, cars are more efficient, yada yada yada. But there are some times where I think he just went too far. Like we didn't ask for this. It's kind of like, I'm sure you saw the news story this week about the Aqua lights in the new Mercedes.
Nope.
So Mercedes has gotten U.S. government approval for a level 3 autonomy.
Yep.
Which is like full self-driving beyond Tesla. What Tesla claims is full self-driving. And in order to get that clearance, they needed to have an indicator lamp on the car that showed that the car was in full self-driving, so that when a police officer drives up next to the car and sees a person texting on their phone or reading a book, they can allow them to do that. So they have to have, on all four corners of the car now, Aqua indicator lamps that show that the vehicle is in full self-driving mode.
I have to check the levels, but I think it goes up to 5. And
But maybe it's level, but whatever level it is, they're the first one to have that level.
it's 3,
And it's
3
100%.
Yeah, 1, 2,
hands off.
and then 3, and then there's like 4, and then like 5 is like nobody in the vehicle.
Okay, so that's like the Waymo taxis or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what level it is. I don't know the things, but I know that was the whole thing, and it's not allowed yet on every road. It's certain, geo-fenced areas. But
Sure, whatever.
it's just too much. Like, I
Just
don't
Just
understand.
take the subway. I don't know. It's whatever. That's
Yeah, and aqua color is like, aqua seems weird. Like, it's not. There's no defined color that's aqua, right? Like, is it green? Is it yellow? Is it a little blue? Like, front-facing blue lights have been illegal for years, but now aqua's okay.
kind of bluish
So-
green. I don't see. I thought you were going to talk about Volkswagen saying they're going back to buttons.
No, that's also So Mercedes is level 3 at full autonomy. So anyway, yeah. So that's one of the other features that's coming, and you think lane assist is hard to reprogram after a collision. Full self-driving is going to be even worse.
Well, it's supposedly
So-
not supposed to crash. That's the whole point.
The problem is you might not. Maybe if, in a perfect world, if the car was perfect and never crashed, somebody would still crash into it.
Yeah.
If it were perfect, but they're not perfect, as Tesla has shown. They're self-driving, sometimes still.
It's not real
Crashes.
self-driving though. That's the thing. I don't want to get into it because it's annoying.
Sure, but it's all related, and I guess we'll just continue to talk about mid-90s Mitsubishis forever. So it's what we know.
I
Screw
mean,
Camry talk. Why are we talking about Camrys? Everybody said don't talk about Camrys. I'm all done talking about Camrys.
I think, from my hot take here is that self-driving is silly, and the money and
Mhm.
research that's being spent on self-driving should be spent on better public transit, because it doesn't relieve cars from the road. The problem is there's too many cars on the road causing traffic jams.
Sure. Yeah,
Having
we're the
everybody
most anti-car
self-driving
podcast
doesn't-
ever.
Yeah, I'm anti-commuting in cars. I am for driving cars to do fun things, but commuting in
Yes.
cars is absolutely dumb.
Yes. I don't disagree. I don't necessarily enjoy commuting in a car. And this is, as a person, I literally drive for a living now. Like,
Yeah.
I drive my car all day. So it is what it is. It would definitely be easier if I can get in the train and go from place to place, but then I wouldn't have a job because cars wouldn't be crashing as
Yeah,
much.
yeah. So it's a real problem there. But
Real catch-22 here, Andrew.
But I worked. There was a company next door that was doing GPR mapping,
Okay.
so that they can do self-driving. So it would go off what's underground. And I'm like,
Ground
man, that is a
penetrating
real waste of
radar.
time. Like,
Yeah.
spend time
I-
doing something useful.
I've learned what GPR is from watching Oak Island.
Oh yes,
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
so
triumvirate
I
of
think
real quick, the triumvirate of like shows I'm interested in. They talk about GPR, scuba diving, metal detecting.
yes.
It's all of the things.
Yeah. Hey, you think we're nerdy about cars? Talk to us about something else.
I know so much about underground mining now and drilling.
Yes. Yes, so much. Yeah, I think that's really where the whole thing comes down to. But during that whole the conversation of commute and drive versus public transportation and drive, it's especially in an area where you live. You work in a city, you live in a suburb outside of that city. It should be easy for you to publicly transport yourself to work,
Yeah.
but it's not.
No.
It's virtually impossible to do it in any kind of efficient manner, and it takes if you did
Takes the same amount of time as
100%
driving.
public. If you did
Or longer.
100% public transportation, it would take you longer because you have to start by walking to the bus stop and then taking a bus, which are woefully inefficient in the PBD Salem area, taking a bus to the train station and then waiting for the train. So I had done it a few times when I lived in Georgetown, Mass, and I worked in Hyde Park. I couldn't do it 100%. I had to drive to a train station regardless because I lived in a more remote area than even you do. And if I did full public transportation from the next town to my town to my work, it involved 2 trains and 2 buses. And it was 2.5 hours minimum, sometimes 3 to 3.5 hours. So it definitely wasn't worth it when I could drive there in an hour and a half to 2 hours, which also wasn't great, but it was 30 miles. Like it wasn't that far, but it took forever to get there and there was no better way to do it. So I think 100% you are correct. Living in a city, it should be easier to do public transportation. Living outside the city, fine. But yeah. Anyway, enough anti-car. Let's go back to cars, Andrew.
We actually have a topic. Do you want to get to the topic?
Yeah, let's skip right to it.
So we have pedantic corrections in the Discord. And the reason to join the Discord because you can complain to us and correct us when we're wrong, and give your opinion.
I'm sure the complaint this week will be, you guys said you were going to do this topic, and it took 36 minutes to get there because you talked about goddamn Camrys again.
Yeah, we. It came out because we're talking about celebrity spokespersons for cars, and we were trying to figure out Japanese automakers. So I went and I did a little more research on it. And we had suggestions from people.
It's hard.
And yeah, so what's hard about it?
It's hard to find. So because of our taste in cars, I was trying to find information about spokespersons for Japanese cars in the US.
Right.
And it was very difficult to find any kind of lists or even any documentation of them in the past. Anytime you did any kind of search, it came American stars who did ad spots for Japanese car companies in Japan, which is wild and cool, but not what I was trying to find out.
There was
so most of what I found is going to be about
of the week. Yeah.
Go
ahead. I was gonna say there was a question
of
the week post.
I'm done. You can move on. Yeah. On Japanese car.
Yes. Is there a delay tonight?
Okay. I found that one too. It must be because I hear it just fine. I think
that was probably the most informative one that had the James Garner as a spokesperson for Mazda, which I didn't know.
Looking back, I have vague memories of knowing that, but I never would have come up with that on my own. That's for sure.
No. Because you said now it's Aunt Ansted for Mazda?
Yes.
So that sort of tracks. You got a celebrity who's a car person.
Yep, it makes sense.
And we've talked about it before. And it was free on Amazon if you had Prime, but it's no longer free. There was it's called The Racing Scene, and it's a documentary of James Garner like running his racing teams and like doing some racing in the mid to late 60s, maybe early 70s. I think it's on Paramount Plus when I looked it up last week. But if you've got access to it, I think there's like a crummy quality version of it on YouTube. It's really cool. It's like a really good documentary. Like it starts out he's like running the Baja in one of those Broncos from back in the day, and
Okay.
he's got some other drivers doing like Formula 3000 and stuff. It's pretty cool.
I don't think I've actually seen it, so
It's worth watch.
I don't have Paramount Plus, so
well, you can watch the crummy version on YouTube, I guess. It's like somebody ripped it from a VHS.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get into technology conversation again now, but I have so many streaming services, and Paramount Plus is not one of them. So
I'll
have to watch the YouTube version.
They're all combining up, and we're back to cable.
Yep. So is what it is. We had we had a conversation in the household this morning about how many things we subscribe to monthly and how much it actually does cost at the end of the day. So
yeah, because you're like,
I'm like, yeah, this is $5. This is $10. Whatever, it's no big deal.
You're like, it's not. It's $10,
is,
and that multiplies. But
yeah, all of a sudden you're $100 real fast.
Yeah.
So,
all right. I think like two of the coolest ones, and they're on YouTube. I think what I'll do after this is I'll wait a few days for this episode to marinate out there in the world, and then I'll put these links up in the Discord. So another reason to join the Discord. I think the coolest one was he did the 89 RX-7.
The GTU?
Yeah. But it's like he's driving the race car.
In the commercial?
Yeah.
I didn't come across that. one.
Oh.
That's
should we pause and you can watch it and then we'll have a reaction?
I guess we could, sure.
Yeah. All right.
When Mazda asked me if I'd like to take some hot laps in one of their RX-7 race cars, they didn't have to ask twice. Whew, I'm telling you, nothing pours out power as smoothly as a rotary engine. It makes for a great race car and a great sports car. This RX-7 also has one of the most advanced suspension systems in the world. It loves to be driven hard. Check it out. But don't blame me if you start hating what you're driving now.
Want to take it out again, Mr. Garner?
Like I said, you don't have to ask me twice.
All right. What do you think of that?
Well, it's not 89. There's an error with the listing.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Because they would not have advertised the 1989 Mazda RX-7 by showing a 1986 or maybe 87.
Okay.
Nerd I mean, alert. Listen, it has the 4-lug pepper pot wheels and the black rub strips, which was the earlier car. So it definitely, the black rub strips might have been 89, but the four-lug wheels weren't.
I think you get them both ways, so depending on the model. But no,
not that late. Nope. Somebody tell me I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that by 89 they were all 5-lug cars. So anyway, it's cool. It shows him driving the IMSA GTU car, blue and yellow car with fixed headlights, which is rad. And I think he says nothing pours out power smoother than a rotary engine, and he's not wrong. They're very smooth.
Yeah, it kind of looks cool like it looks like Lime Rock without like weed control, but I'm not sure where it is.
I can't say that I noticed what track it was at.
You know, it could have been like 80s Lime Rock. Who knows? It's one of those. Could have been like Road America or something. But
I don't think it's Lime Rock. I'm just rewatching it right now. It's it's gonna be Road Atlanta, I
You
think.
think so?
Nope, it's a wall, not seats.
Yeah,
Never mind.
who knows?
Carry on. I thought he was at the end of the commercial. It was showing him sitting in the. It might be Atlanta.
I don't know.
I don't know. Nonetheless, very cool commercial. It's cool that it shows the race car trim and then the actual street car as well. So that's really neat. But no, I dig it.
Yeah, so that's probably the coolest one. He does another one for the 929, which is kind of a random thing. That's such a oddball car.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a bad name for a luxury car, but they kind of competed with like the Cressida and stuff.
Yeah, they were trying. That was their idea, but they didn't quite make it.
Well, the cool thing about that car, it had the swinging vents.
Yeah.
So when you turned on the air conditioning or the heat, you could turn on the oscillating feature, and the vents in the dashboard would swing back and forth, left or right.
Yeah,
Really
there's
good stuff.
there's an alternate universe where, it wasn't just Toyota, Honda, and Nissan that launched luxury brands. Mazda and Mitsubishi and Subaru launched a luxury brand too, right?
Yep. Subaru did?
I don't know what Subaru would have tried to. Maybe not. But Mitsubishi tried to with
I mean,
the Diamante.
Yeah, they didn't try a brand though. They just had
but neither
luxury
did
cars.
Mazda. This is my alternate universe where they would have
Oh, okay. Yeah.
they would have launched a Lexus Infinity.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Subaru.
Acura.
If you look at like an early legacy, like LL Bean, would be their luxury version of a vehicle because it was based on it wasn't its own whole car, but it was a luxury-esque brand. Like they came out with premium things like the SVX, and then eventually they had their giant SUV, the Tribeca. That was
maybe it would have been
more of
like
a luxury brand.
Call back to Andrew Tribeca there.
Yeah,
maybe it would have been like the Subaru, whatever the name of the Constellation. I think it's Pallades. Maybe they would have called their luxury brand Pallades or something.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah, Mazda maybe,
and Mitsubishi probably would have done it as well with the, like you said, the Diamante, and they would have had like the Galant VR4 would have been a luxury brand like the G20 was.
Yeah.
So,
but anyway, speaking of Honda, I think so. Like currently in the U.S., maybe we talked about this. It's John Cena. And it's
currently,
it's at least his voice. He does the voice work for it.
Confirmed, by the way. 87 was the last year of a 4-lug RX-7.
Okay.
So,
yeah, you never noticed any Honda commercials? It's John Cena? No.
I guess I don't know his voice well enough to have picked up on it.
And then
I haven't paid attention really to a Honda commercial since they fired the crab. So,
and what about, like, you've never seen any of the articles about him driving a Civic Type R?
I know he drives a Civic Type R for his daily vehicle.
Yes,
that
is because he's the Honda spokesperson.
That makes more sense. I thought it was just because he had good taste.
He does have good taste. I guess he really likes the car from what he's talked about it.
But he's paid to drive it, so now it's suspect.
Okay, I guess.
Listen, bring back the crab. All I want is the crab. I pinch.
The crab?
Do you remember the crab?
No.
He was when the Honda Element came out. Yep.
Those were
the whole ad campaign was Element and Friends, and there were multiple
TV
different
ads?
animal ones. Yes,
I thought they were printed ads.
No, they were printed ads as well.
Because I remember the Duck-Billed Platypus one. You're quite a conundrum.
Same ad campaign, but they had the whole thing with the crab, and the crab would be like, "I pinch." No, you don't pinch. Okay, I pinch. So they had a whole catchphrase was just "I pinch," and it was definitely a TV ad, and there were tons of it. And they eventually, his name was Gil, I think.
Okay,
Gil the crab.
That is deep.
But anyway, they had a whole big thing where they fired him, and then early internet days they came back. It was like a petition to bring him back. It was a whole thing. I can't believe I remember that.
I just remember the duck-billed platypus, but it was not conundrum. What in the word? What's the word I'm trying to think of? Because the
I don't
element
remember.
was
I
such a
remember them.
weird vehicle, and then the duck-billed platypus is a weird animal, and it was like something to do with that. Like,
Yeah, it was like you're like me.
yeah. What the heck was it? What word? Oh, we're gonna have to look it up. Oh no.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to look it up, but it's not actually working because that's too deep of an old commercial to find quickly on the internet. Apparently,
You try to look it up. I'll keep. Did you know that?
you keep it going here.
Did you know that ZZ Top did a Honda Z ad in Japan?
I didn't. Now the problem with the Japan ones is that we never saw them.
No.
So it makes sense because it is Z, right?
Yeah.
So
and they're car guys, which is funny. I don't think they
big time car guys.
I don't
like
think
American Hot Rod guys.
Yeah, I don't know if they drive a Honda Z, but
no, probably not. But so we were really exposed to some of their stuff because, for lack of a better word, the boomer generation that was producing model cars in our youth was obsessed with old American hot rods and ZZ Top. And they made like all of their cars as model kits. Like you could buy their 33 Ford with the big ZZ on the side as a model kit. Cadzilla was a model kit you could get when we were kids or preteens. That was a ZZ Top car. And there were a few others as well.
Did we get we're going to go way off topic here, which is what we like to do. Did we get to see Cadzilla? Was at the Peterson, I think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a cool car.
It was at the Peterson. We were there once. Yep.
Yeah. That's
it was parked car. Next to the Hirohito Merc.
Yeah. See, I've been out of that for a while. I know you had that picture on Instagram of that cool hot rod. Are billet builds still a thing? Like the Boyd Cottaton.
Which hot rod are we talking about?
Billet.
Oh, the one I just looked the other day, the St. Christopher?
Yeah.
So billet cars are still a thing with people who built the billet cars in the 80s and 90s.
Okay.
But they've gone out of style with people who weren't of hot rod building age at that time.
It was like...
So, like, the car that I posted the other day, the St. Christopher, is far from a billet build.
Yeah.
So, it
just made me think of it.
Yeah, it's a very period... It's a very modern take on period correct. How's that sound?
Okay.
So, it's made with mostly period parts, but with modern paint colors and stuff. So, it's I don't know, call it almost retro futuristic, I guess. Like it's built if the car was built in 1958 with technology from today. So the style is very,
I feel you. Yeah.
In period,
yeah,
but
cool.
The build is out of period, and it's literally the coolest thing I've ever seen. So yeah, South City Rod and Custom St. Christopher. If you don't know the car I'm talking about, that's the one. It's like
on our Instagram.
Tone.
I took a nice picture of it.
Yeah, took 4 or 5.
Yeah,
I posted 4 or 5 nice pictures of it. I was actually pretty frustrated with that because it was one of my best car show pictures I've ever taken, and it got like 40 interactions.
All right, go give Brad some likes, make his ego feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just that I don't know that I was just looking at hot rods and I was like, I think what Brad posted there is what's in for hot rods now, and I was pretty sure billet stuff was out. Like it's
period correct is always in. It never will go out of style. Which in a weird way, billet stuff is period correct to a period.
Yeah, it is now.
But, yeah, and
like billet cars are now antiques themselves.
Style is a hard thing to quantify. Period correct, I think about is the first way it was done. So cars in the 70s, the style of the 70s, I don't think is nearly as popular as the style from the 50s and 60s. And the billet stuff obviously is not as popular. And I don't know that it ever will be. But the traditional tradition, I think, will always be in style because that was what was cool immediately.
Yeah.
If you look at 70s custom stuff that is in style now, it's more of like the lowrider stuff, because lowrider stuff was getting really big in the late 60s and the early 70s, and that went through the 70s, and a car built today with like crossing the lines between a traditional custom and a lowrider is that very 70s style. So
Yeah.
celebrity ads where it's laser focus, Andrew, laser focus.
Listen, I mean, we
Yeah.
got there. I
have a real like super strong desire to build a late 60s, early 70s style mild custom out of like a late 50s, early 60s car. And it will, once I've figured out the disaster of cars that I currently own, which I think we'll have a conversation about next week for our New Year's resolution episode.
Yep.
It's in the plans that there will be something along those lines eventually built. So it's all I can think about lately. Like all these Mitsubishis and sports cars and stuff that are always in my head, but I've had this like big American cruiser in my head for a while now. So anyway, carry on.
All right. So yeah, we don't need to watch this one. The ZZ Top one. I'll just post it.
No. I'm sure it's two dudes spinning guitars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Z600.
One that shocked me, another Japanese one. I mean, it makes sense because they're kind of obsessed with Western culture, especially in the 80s and 90s.
Sure.
There is a Madness ad for the Honda City.
The band, The Madness?
Yeah, like the ska band Madness.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't look into like songs. I was looking more in like celebrities, like Bruce Willis and the Daihatsu Mira. Like,
yeah. Let's see. Do you want to watch the Motocompo one? And we'll have a react.
Motocompo?
Yeah.
The original Motocompo?
It's a city. Yeah, it's a Honda City and Motocompo ad.
City in city.
What do you think of that?
City, Honda. They really pulled out all the stops with the lyrics for that one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is that's as 80s ska as it gets. It barely mentions the Motocompo, it just shows them take it out of the bag.
Yeah, right.
But they mostly talk about the car. So that's interesting. You know what the fun fact about the Motocompo is?
Okay.
So usually when you go to a Radwood or a JCCS or whatever, now you'll see a Honda City Turbo 2.
Yep.
Or Turbo with the Honda Motocompo scooter in the back.
Yep.
The Motocompo was never available with the Honda City Turbo.
Ooh. Walk up to this people like, actually, this never came with this vehicle.
Yes. It was only available in the base model Honda City, or the regular Honda City, not the Turbo.
Yeah.
So, yep. Tell them that they're wrong.
A real deep cut would be to dress as Madness, all your buddies, and
it would be Honda. So deep that nobody would know what the hell was going on. Yeah. So that's interesting. It's funny though, because the Motocompo scooter has surpassed the value of the Honda City non-turbo.
Yeah. So,
I mean, a Honda City Turbo for some reason is 25, 30 grand, but a Honda City not turbo is like $3,000.
Yep.
And for some reason, people are spending like 6 to 10 grand on Motocompos. That's madness, for lack of a better word. So
nice.
Yeah, totally unplanned, I promise. Yeah, no, it's gross. I don't understand, because they're neat little things as a thing, but as an actual useful thing, like whatever.
I don't know.
So it looks like they were multiple Madness Honda City ads.
Yeah.
By the way, so they did a whole little thing, but
yeah, there's like there's multiple ones with Michael J. Fox for the Integra, which is kind of wild. But they play like Gotta Go Back in Time or Power of Love.
Very interesting.
Yeah, because he was at
so they songs from his famous movie at the time.
Yep. Jodie Foster does a Civic Fiero. Is it Ferio? Fiero?
Ferio.
Ferio?
Ferio.
Yeah.
Ferio.
Weird.
Who did that one?
Jodie Foster.
Okay.
That was
Interesting.
in 93. Harrison Ford, Honda Legend.
Yeah, I saw that like 92 or something.
Yeah, kind of weird,
That's
right?
very interesting too. I mean, they're all kind of weird because they would never do commercials in this country at that point in their careers. Like 1992, Harrison Ford was not
Doesn't do TV
hurting
commercials
for
in the
work.
US.
Yeah, he doesn't do TV commercials at all. He's way too popular, but he'll do them overseas.
Yeah.
And I guess probably in 92, he was probably like, nobody will ever see this because the internet will never exist.
Yeah.
There will never be a YouTube. And guess what, guy? Not as a YouTube, and we can see them all. Again, Bruce Willis in a Daihatsu Miura. Like,
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy doing the Celica. Like, there's so many weird things.
I like the Bruce Willis one because they own, like, it's very meta where they make fun of him that he's speaking Japanese but not doing it very well.
Okay.
Did you watch it?
I'm currently watching it right now.
All right, here.
Um,
We'll watch it.
ダイハツリッター30キロしかも低価格いい車だ今回はタレントに頼らず商品だけで勝負して大物タレント呼んじゃってますけどダイハツミライイース新登場ダイハツ主役はブルースじゃないミライースだリッター30キロしかも低価格このメッセージがニュースなんだダイマツミラーブースダイハツミライースだちゃんと覚えるんだブルースダイハツいつもブルースばかり目立っているリッター30キロしかも低価格このメッセージが目立ってない今回は目立ちますダイハツミライース目立つぞブルース悪い意味でダイハツ You are good ミライースセールスマン通じてません売れてるの売れてるへえ俺のおかげ腹立つなブルースダイハツこの高い壁をミライースで突き破ってほしいこんな感じで危ないよ危ない映画でやってたじゃないかブルース危なくないダイハツこれはすごいぜミライースリッター30キロしかも低価格だこんな車もう買わない理由が見当たらねえな吹き替えうまいですねダイハツブルース豆腐は体にいいぞ低カロリーしかも低価格低価格ダイハツミラーイースよく覚えたブルースリッター30キロもね
All right, what do you think of that one?
Daihatsu Marais. That is funny. He keeps like it starts off the whole series of commercials, and it starts off with him in an airplane trying to learn how to say it, and then saying it incorrectly in front of them, and then saying Daihatsu Marais at the end of every commercial. I did find it interesting that the commercial ends and Daihatsu, the brand, says its own name, but it says Daihatsu. It doesn't say Daihatsu. But every time that they have Bruce Willis say it, he says Daihatsu. So is that part of the joke? Is it just Daihatsu?
I don't know.
Do we have to contact our friend Paul and find out the proper pronunciation of Daihatsu?
I don't know. And then at the end, they have the Japanese guy just dubs over Bruce Willis. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's a whole series of commercials that all go together. It's pretty good. I'm mostly unaware of that one. So.
Mm-hmm.
Good
and
stuff.
Of course,
good stuff. So,
what were you gonna say?
I said, well, we are down that rabbit hole of what I could also find was the Japanese commercials for Japanese car companies with American stars. And you didn't bring up the Mitsubishi one, of course, with an American star. Did you find that one at all?
What's that one?
Meg Ryan for the Mitsubishi Dingo.
What?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know about this one.
Yeah. Well, it's Andrew's turn for us to take a pause and watch a commercial.
What's that? It's a UFO! Okay, let's go! Where are we? Navi Navi!
使い心地のいい形、価格も嬉しいナビディンゴ。
Navi Navi Dingo!
お、4WD。
Okay. Is it just because it
Navi
has
Navi Dingo.
navigation in 1995?
So that's why it's called a Navi Dingo.
A Navi Navi Dingo.
Navi Navi Dingo. Where are we? Navi Navi.
Weird.
So basically, it's Meg Ryan getting in the car with, I don't know if it's actually her family, and they speak English the entire commercial. And then they say Navi Navi Dingo a few times, and the son in the car, when they get out, says, "Where are we?" Or she says, "Where are we?" And the son goes, "Navi Navi." Like, of course, we're at Navi Navi. So it's interesting because it's a Mitsubishi Dingo. But if you notice in the commercial in the bottom right, it says Car Plaza.
Car Plaza?
Yep.
Yeah,
Which Car Plaza was Mitsubishi's like boutique store where you didn't go to a Mitsubishi dealer to buy a Dingo. You went to the Car Plaza dealer. So
yeah, you can get my Gullwing Eclipse there.
It's where they sold Eclipses. Yep. Strange little fact that they did that. There's a couple other brands that did that too, but I don't know them top of my head. Just I know the Mitsubishi stuff because I don't know, Mitsubishi nerds. But yeah, Navi Navi Dingo. So
I have one more Japanese one.
Okay.
Then I have a US one after that, but you'll know it. So actually, I'll just say it. Honorable mention. Everybody who grew up in the US in the 90s knows Paul Hogan, Subaru Outback.
Sure.
Do you remember the ad? It's like driving the Outback. They're like driving it fast, and like it's outrunning all other SUVs, and like they're still back there. It's like, Explorers and stuff.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you remember that one? It was from like 96.
I have vague memories of it for sure.
Yeah. But
Remember
that was just kind of
a blue Subaru Outback.
Yeah, that was just a funny thing that like, because he was like kind of, it'd been like 10 years since probably Crocodile Dundee, and then
Crocodile Dundee
brought him out for the Subaru Outback.
Yeah, they should have done like, that's not an SUV. This is an SUV, but they never did.
Yeah, they never did do that.
So, nope, that would have been the way. I should be a commercial writer.
Yeah, and then you might not recognize the name, but you'd recognize the actor when you see him.
Okay.
Kyle MacLachlan for the 1993 Subaru Impreza WRX. So think Twin Peaks.
Okay. Yep.
So here, we'll pause and let you watch it.
Yes or no?
この橋、このサイズがスポーツワゴン。こんなワゴン今までなかった。
Yes, Impreza.
インプレッサスポーツワゴン WRX 新登場。スバルから。
So, what do you think about that? We were just talking about it. I didn't hit record yet, but we're watching the ad. You'll have to go and watch it. But it looks like it was definitely done in America.
Yeah, for sure. Because in the end, it shows him sitting in like a coffee shop or something.
Yeah,
the car's
like,
parked outside.
Yeah, and there's like an American
and you can see
meter.
The parking meters are clearly American parking meters, for sure. That's interesting. Like they didn't fly him to California; they flew a car to America.
Yeah.
So now the question is, where is that car? Where is the 1992 WRX station wagon that made it to Portland, Oregon?
Yeah.
Or California, or wherever it happens to be. So that's different because I don't know, was Twin Peaks a success in Japan, like dubbed over? Like
Maybe.
it wasn't really a success here the first time it aired.
It's a cult
either.
hit
That
here.
was kind of one of those cult sleeper hits that was like, it was a success in syndication and on VHS. Like it didn't do well because it was weird. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's a very cool show. But in 1992, it was so out of left field that it didn't do well. It's kind of like the first run of, Arrested Development was like ahead of its time,
Yeah.
It didn't really...
yeah, if you launched Twin
didn't
Peaks
really
today
sit
on like
well.
Netflix or something as a new show.
Yeah, it'd be huge.
Yeah.
It'd be huge. Because it is a good show. It was a good show in a wrong time.
I actually never watched it.
Oh. I haven't watched the whole thing, but I should go back to the beginning and watch it. I know we have one former guest / listener who is yelling at his radio right now for both of us for not knowing more about Twin Peaks.
Okay.
So, sorry, Ron. But calling him out publicly as a big Twin Peaks
I bet he
fan.
didn't know Cal McLaughlin was in a 1993 Subaru WRX commercial.
He probably didn't. And I challenge him to be such a big Twin Peaks fan now that he can go out and buy a imported 1992 Subaru WRX station wagon. Just for that fact.
So that's what I got.
Very cool. So the big American one that we didn't talk about much last week was Paul Newman, right? And I think...
But that was mostly Japan, right? Nissan? Japan?
No, that was mostly here.
Really?
So here's the thing. The word spokesperson, spokesman, spokeswoman, what we talked about mostly today is singular ads. Like they were in one or two ads for one model of car. A spokesperson, spokesman, spokeswoman usually is the face of the company for a period of time across the whole line. And that's like what this whole conversation started because of Rashida Jones being the Mitsubishi spokesperson.
Well, that was James Garner for Mazda.
That was definitely James Garner for Mazda, but it was also Paul Newman for Nissan because Paul Newman was so Nissan that they had like Paul Newman editions and they had Paul Newman racing teams, and he was featured in a lot of print ads at the time, not so much video ads, because I don't think Nissan even did a lot of video ads in the 80s here. They definitely did it in Japan for Skylines and stuff, because obviously Newman raced Skylines in international competition. But he would have been what I would consider to be a spokesperson for the brand versus a celebrity in a commercial. I think is the difference in what we're talking about here. And that's, that goes the way of Joe Isuzu, right? Joe Isuzu was a spokesperson for, a fictional spokesperson. David Leisure was the guy playing the character, but he was a fictional spokesperson for the whole entire company for a very long period of time. I'd even go so far as to say that Jackie Chan was a spokesperson for Mitsubishi for a long period of time. He didn't do commercials necessarily from Mitsubishi, but he did 2.5 hour long feature films where
placement.
Every car he drove was a Mitsubishi and every car in the background was a Mitsubishi, and they sold Jackie Chan edition vehicles in Japan because he was their spokesperson. So I would say, to me, the most iconic of the Japanese spokespersons for Japanese cars, maybe not in America, but in general, to me, would be Jackie Chan, just because of the lasting staying power that his movies have. People still watch Jackie Chan movies today and are big fans of Jackie Chan's work, and they watch all his 80s stuff, and they're going to be force-fed Mitsubishis the entire time. Like we've all, we talked about, and you and I have both seen, what is it, Thunder... Oh, what's the name of that race car? Right? Thunderbolt, thank you. Yeah, Thunderbolt. So where it's literally the entire movie is like a Rocky story of Jackie Chan building an Evo to go racing. So, and he has another one where he is driving a food truck, and the food truck is a tricked out Mitsubishi minicab. And he has another one where he drives a 80s wedge shaped Colt with a roof cut off into a convertible. And it's literally every movie in the 80s of Jackie Chan, he drives Mitsubishis. It's just how it is. So I think that he would be the biggest spokesperson I could think of the era for a Japanese vehicle. Not necessarily in the States. I think that definitely goes to either James Garner or Joe Isuzu, because they were the only ones that were throughout the brand, through multiple cars, through multiple commercials. So that's my kind of tying it all together in the end into a conversation of spokesperson versus single ad campaign. So I don't know. A spokesperson's always been a big part of the car industry, right? I mean, American cars for years have had their characters. You know, everybody always talks about the rich Corinthian leather and Ricardo Montalban and the Chrysler Cordoba, or now top of my head, I can't think of any more, but you know what I mean. There's always those spokespeople for cars, and the ones that are remembered more so than others. But for me, it's Jackie Chan cars. What about you?
As far as spokespeople,
what's the most iconic to you?
I mean, I would probably, like, as far as remembering stuff, that's a good question. I don't know. I would only say,
I mean, Nissan for a while used Mr. Katayama. He was in a lot of the early 90s ones.
I mean, I remember, like, it's funny. I remember less like spokespeople and more like just their campaigns.
Sure.
Like the guy that Nissan had for a while would be like, dogs love trucks.
And that's Mr. Katayama. That's
Is
Mr. K. He's the father of the Datsun Z car in America.
Oh, okay. So, I didn't know that.
Yep.
And like, of course, like the G.I. Joe 300ZX commercial, even though they didn't make a 300ZX at that time when it came out.
They didn't?
No. It came out after the 300ZX was over.
Okay.
So.
Well, then there's the famous ad. I think we've talked about it before. The Cadillac Catera had a sort of spokesperson, but it was the character from the TV show Chicago Hope that GM paid to have a character named Lisa Catera.
Oh.
So the name was Lise A. Catera.
What?
When the car came out.
I never heard that.
Yep.
Weird.
So GM paid the producers of the show to have a character named Lisa Catera when the car was new.
Oh, that is some deep knowledge that I was not aware of.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
deep pull.
Didn't work, obviously, because the Cadillac Catera and Chicago Hope are both long erased from everybody's memory.
Yeah. They zigged away, I guess.
Yeah, they zigged and they should have zagged.
I remember that ad campaign with the ducks would turn.
The duck. Yep. Yeah, I worked at a Cadillac dealer actually in that period. And we knew immediately they were going to be doomed for failure because I think they came out in 98, maybe sometime around then, 98, 99. And I worked at the dealership in probably 01-ish.
Yeah.
And we had a line of them out back. Like a literal entire back row of the parking lot was Cadillac Cateras.
Because they're Opals, right?
They were Opel Omegas. And most of them either needed cylinder heads or head gaskets. And we couldn't get them. They just didn't exist in this country. And the cars just sat there. And sat there forever. And we're like, yeah, these cars aren't going to last very long. So
weird.
But anyway. Yep. Yeah, Lisa Catera.
Lisa Catera.
Brilliant, right?
Like such like what did they think it was gonna be, like subliminal marketing campaign?
Yeah, that was the whole thing.
My goodness.
Yeah. I mean, hey, listen, maybe it's a rumor and it's not substantiated. I don't know. I just remember hearing about it and being like, interesting. That's quite a coincidence because it all happened in like 98. So
weird.
Yep. And listen, I don't care about Cadillac Cateras or Chicago hope, but that knowledge is stuck.
I
in
feel
my
like
head
you'd be a
'cause it was
guy that
dumb.
would drive a Catera.
I would 100% drive a Catera. I saw one a couple days ago, and I was like, "Oh man, a Catera!" But that's either
caddy
here
that
nor there, Andrew. That's either here nor there. I assume at this point you could probably get parts for them, just because nobody else wants them.
Yeah, there's probably some
So-
owners group that's way into them.
I'm sure there is. Actually, how cool would it be? Because they were rear-wheel drive. Let's LS swap a Catera.
I bet that's a thing.
Yeah. I'm into it. Now I want one.
All right, cool.
My brain. LS1 into a Catera. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a thing for sure.
All right, before we get too off
We're already
topic-
too deep, Andrew. It's
Too
already
deep?
too off topic. We talked about celebrities and wound up talking about lowriders and traditional customs, and now we're talking about Cadillacs nobody cares about. I hope everybody's happy that we're off the topic of Camrys and on to the topic of Cateras.
Yep.
So,
Well, on that note, Brad, where can they find you?
they can find me musing about Cateras and Camrys on the internet on Instagram at TSISS350. Also find me on Threads on the same name. They can find Scale Auto stuff from both of us at Scale Autocast. Second episode gets recorded next week, so that's upcoming. And they can find me on the podcast socials, which I'll let you push with your stuff. Where can they find you, Andrew?
Auto Off Topic Podcast on Facebook, Auto Off Topic on Instagram and Threads, and I am Race and Anger on Threads and Instagram. And I think that's it right now. You already talked about Scale Autocast. Yeah, cool. So, also, one final time, go join the Discord. It's fun. And I'll put all links to the videos after a few days after this episode's out.
Oh, and currently the Scale Autocast / Auto Off Topic group build is live. I'll put another reminder post up this week, and I'll put some teasers of what's getting built up this week, so we can generate some more builds. We got about 10 or 15 being built right now, I think.
I gotta change the kit, because the kit that I was gonna do, I've got parts coming for it. They're late, so I'm gonna do a different kit that I have here.
Well, I'm planning on doing 2 kits, is my hope. So hopefully I can get there.
Yeah,
One
well,
sitting next to
we're
me
gonna
right
talk
now.
more about this on Scale Autocast. So.
Sure.
All right,
Done.
cool. As always, keep cars analog and aim for roses.